Hello, so today I'm going to talk about how to decorate your macarons. So if you have seen pictures like this, and you want to create that, stay tuned. There are many ways to decorate your macarons. I'm going to go over some that are my favorite and kind of the easiest ways to get some pretty designs on top of your macarons. So first way is just a plain edible ink marker. So you can buy edible ink pens, edible ink markers, and you can find the markers with different thickness. So these are done with a pretty thin marker. They have really fine tip markers, which I'll link below. I don't not love them, but they run out very easily. So if you need real detailed work, they're great. You just have to be careful that you don't poke through the macaron. So because they will break through because they have such a fine tip. But these, the ones that I use here in this video, these are my favorite because it's a softer tip and it's not like a pen, and because it lasts longer than the other ones. But I'll link these below as well. These are my favorite for doing just simple line work, and they're easier to use but harder to make look good on a macaron. So I'm going to show you a technique later that's also pretty easy to use, takes a bit more stuff, but it's easier to make it look good. These, if you have a vision in mind of something where you need a line drawing, or you want to do like a line drawing on top of a paint, the ones that I just talked about are perfect for that. Easiest way to get started because it's just a pen to macaron. Okay, now this technique here is also pretty easy, but you need a couple more things to get started. This looks like it's hard, but go watch this video if you haven't already, and I show you step by step how to make these macarons. It looks hard, it looks fancy, but really you're just putting your paintbrush in paint and kind of sloshing it around on there with the right colors. So go watch that video. That is liquid food coloring or a gel food coloring mixed with water or vodka or a vanilla extract. So that one is pretty easy to do as well. You just kind of have to know what you're doing. So go watch this video and I teach you how to make those. But that technique is perfect if you want a kind of washed pastel watercolor look on your shells. But you have to be careful with that and this technique, because if you put too many layers down at once without letting them dry in between, they can get soggy and break the shell. So you have to, I talk about that a lot in the video, but you have to really make sure you're following those instructions. But if you want like a light wash, you could mix the gels or liquid food coloring with a little bit of water or vodka or vanilla extract. Okay, if you are enjoying this video or learning something, let me know by hitting the like button below. And if you really like them, hit the subscribe button, and there's a bell next to it that you can hit, and you will get notified whenever I come out with a new video, if that's what you want. Another way to decorate your macarons is just to use edible food paints. So they have, I'll link them below, food paints made specifically for this. You don't have to mix them with anything. They're ready to go. You just paint them onto the cookie. Make sure that you're letting it dry because they do take a little longer to dry, but you can create things like this. The ears here or the facial features here, I use that edible food paint. It is really great. It's a little more expensive than just using a food coloring with a liquid added, but it's worth it because you can really make it look like actual paint, and you can add white. So with the liquid food coloring and the watercolor I was showing you before, you can't really add a white. You just have to add more water or vodka. But here you can use that and make it really opaque looking and have more control over the color. So those are really fun to work with. Another way to decorate your macarons is royal icing. This is the hardest of all of them, and I go over that in detail in these two videos. But it's the hardest, but sometimes looks the best because it adds a little dimension to your macaron. So if you want to do like a flower crown, or you want the ears to stick out like this, and you really want to add some dimension and really make these stand out, the royal icing will do that. There are tons of tutorials on how to use royal icing. I include that in this video. But once you get the hang of the icing, it's not that hard. I would practice on something other than a macaron first, so you're not wasting those ingredients. Just practice on a piece of parchment paper or just a plate or something, and get that down before you start practicing on the macarons. But the possibilities are endless. If you're using royal icing and then also the paint, the edible food paint I was telling you about, and the marker, you can make some really beautiful cookies with that. So add just different layers, different textures, and you can make them look really special. Now, another way to do decorating is you could do gold leaf. So they have edible gold leaf, and I will link it below, but that's an easy but expensive way to decorate your macarons. So you have to be so careful with this stuff because I'm not kidding. If you breathe on it wrong, it will float away and just like disappear. So you have to use, I like to use a dry paintbrush and touch down on the sheet of gold leaf and then pick it up with the dry paintbrush and put it down onto the cookie. If you let it touch anything else, it will just disintegrate. Once you get the hang of it and you just make sure you're holding your breath and putting it on there very lightly, then it will be a little easier. But that's just a nice way to add a little something. Same with like a shimmer powder or an edible glitter. You can just add a little bit of sparkle on top of your macarons. Now, my favorite and easiest way to decorate your macarons is to just add whatever's in the filling on top. So I like to either drizzle it with chocolate I have a white chocolate cranberry orange macaron. It's one of our best sellers. I will take some white chocolate. I'll make an orange shell. It's these. I make an orange shell, drizzle it with white chocolate, and then chop up some cranberries. Or I use the dried cranberries, the craisins. Chop those up and sprinkle on top. So you're kind of just incorporating what the ingredients are on top of it as well. So it just looks like a delicious drizzled cookie. So don't be afraid to decorate your macarons with other ingredients as well. Like I see some people drizzle with chocolate and then put brownie pieces on top, or I will put chocolate chips or sprinkles. A lot of people love sprinkles, and a lot of sprinkles you can't use while you're baking. You can't put them on your macarons, then bake them, or they will melt and ruin your shells. So if that happens, bake your shells like you normally would, and when they're cooled and put together, drizzle them with some sort of chocolate or white chocolate, then put the sprinkles on. And you can do just a really thin drizzle. If you don't want it to taste like white chocolate, just do a thin drizzle real quick, then add the sprinkles on there. Airbrush. Airbrush is also a really good way to decorate your macarons. So there's a lot of videos online about using your airbrush machine, but I was thinking about doing a video testing a couple different airbrush machines. Let me know if that is something you'd be interested in seeing, because there are a couple really popular ones out there and I want to see which one's best. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. Okay, also, if you're doing some of these drawings and you're not an artist, that's totally fine. You can use a projector. I will link below a really popular projector that a lot of cookie makers use, and you hook it up to your cell phone or your iPad or something, and it will project whatever's on there onto your cookie, so you can use that as a guide while you're drawing on there. So you do not have to be an artist to do this kind of stuff. You can do really simple ones and use the marker and the projector and just follow the lines. So I will link the projector below. The day I found out that people used projectors on their cookies, it made me feel so much better about myself, because I thought everyone was freehanding their designs, and I was like, I am a crappy artist. I can't believe how good everyone else's stuff looks. Don't be so hard on yourself. A lot of bakers are using projectors or airbrush, and a lot of them aren't freehanding. So don't feel bad if you can't freehand. Don't feel bad about that. A lot of people use the projector, and that is a great way to make it go by a little faster and just keep everything consistent. So if you can afford to get the projector, do that, and they'll be consistent. And same with the airbrush. Okay, so let me know if that's if you want to see that kind of video, or what other videos you want to see. Okay, also, if you want to start or grow your home bakery business, join the email list below. I have a course called The Home Bakery Blueprint, where you can work with me and start or grow your home bakery business. So join that below, and I will let you know as soon as there's spots open for that. And if you're still having trouble making macarons, join the Michelle's Macarons Facebook group and post your pictures in there of your macarons and ask your questions, and we'll all help you make better macarons. If you'd like, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll put those links below. Okay, check out these other macaron videos. Okay, love you, bye.